Hey everyone, and welcome back to Deserts and Gardens. I'm Nathan here with my beautiful wife Mia.
Hi! If you're new here on this podcast, we share our daily highs and lows. This is not by any means a highlight reel, but a space where we talk about the realities of navigating marriage, faith, and our life together with God's guidance every step of the way.
Yeah, today we're going to be diving into a really important topic, and that's going to be disagreeing with your spouse privately.
Right, so we're going to be talking about why it's important to keep disagreements between the two of you and how to not bring those into public settings, how to coordinate that, whether that's joining in when others poke fun at your spouse
Yeah,
or making them the punchline at a dinner party. It's just not cute and it's not biblical either. So we're going to talk about it.
yeah. So let's start with this. Like, being real. Nobody likes to be called out or made fun of,
Right.
especially by their spouse. And I'll be honest, I've definitely made this mistake.
Yeah, like when my family is joking about something, and my family loves to be like, they're the class clown type, like
Yeah,
very funny, very sociable. When you meet them, they're like poking fun and just like I don't know, very charismatic is how I would describe them. Like I feel like
okay.
some people are a little more put together when you meet them, and my
Yeah, right.
family's like so out there, very,
Very welcoming, very loving.
yeah, in a like funny way.
Yeah,
So if they're like, joking and like poking fun at someone, or oh, you remember this, and my husband chimes in, like to them or to you, it might be harmless. But to me, it feels like you're teaming up and you're not on my team. Like you put on the wrong jersey.
yeah, and I mean, that's definitely fair.
I mean, it's not that deep every time. Like I get it. Some relationships this isn't gonna maybe ring as true because maybe you have a little bit of a better sense of humor than I do. But the reality is when a husband or wife joins in making fun of their spouse, even if it's lighthearted, it can feel like a betrayal. And I think that depends on your spouse. And I think it's worth having a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about loving your spouse well and really knowing your spouse. But,
Right.
bring this back to a biblical sense even. Proverbs 12 says, "The words of the reckless pierce like swords, but
Mm-hmm.
the tongue of the wise brings healing." And sometimes we can think that we're joking around, but our words can definitely cut deeper than we realize.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that you always have to agree with your spouse in public or that you can't joke around or like have fun, but you have to be careful about it. And especially things like disagreeing with your spouse. Like if you disagree with your spouse in public, mm, there's a fine line. Like I feel like if you disagree with your spouse and it's not a big deal, you could maybe just keep it to yourself
Yeah.
and not let it be known to everyone that you disagree and have that be a conversation you have with your spouse one on one separately.
Yeah, like, I mean, there are times when, like, the best response is no response.
Yeah.
Like, your spouse says something that you totally disagree with at a family gathering, probably not the best time to maybe correct them. Like,
Right.
maybe, like she's saying, do it in private.
Yeah, like let's say, you're at dinner and I casually say something like, "Oh yeah, Nathan never eats leftovers." And you're sitting here thinking like, "Well, that's not true. I literally ate leftovers yesterday."
Yeah, like for me, that would be the moment. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Not jump in and say like, "Hey, you're actually wrong."
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
because in a situation like that, I feel like it's so clear. What does it matter? Like,
yeah,
to be bickering, to be not on the same team, to not be presenting yourself as a united front, like, over something that genuinely doesn't matter. Like, sometimes we correct each other just to prove a point or to get each other down, or like
yeah,
sometimes I feel like spouses genuinely like putting each other down in public. Like I don't know, but I feel like that's a vibe sometimes and it's not cute. Like all that does is make things awkward.
yeah. And I mean, for sure, I don't
It
like being
makes me
part of
so
that.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. We're sitting at dinner and someone's poking fun at their spouse, and you're just like, do you awkwardly laugh? Do you just sit there and
I
stare at
don't.
them? Like, yeah, exactly. You don't know what to do, and
It's
just
just
because,
like why?
yeah. The whole point we're trying to make here is like we have to be really careful about picking our battles
Yeah.
and really choosing timing. Colossians 3 says, "Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you have a grievance against someone, that includes small grievances like minor details in a story that aren't worth the debate."
Right. I mean, Have you ever been at a dinner party where one spouse is just like roasting the other spouse
Yeah,
all night?
100%. There's been a couple where it's like, like, oh, this person never helps around the house, or she's always spending my money on stuff we don't need, Amazon boxes, social media, you see it all the time.
Yeah. And like you're saying, like it's that awkward where everyone seems to be laughing except me because I don't like stuff like that. But it's like that hurts. And or maybe again, maybe people are not as sensitive as me, but it just seems so backhanded and that just rubs me wrong. Like I just feel like maybe be nice.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that you're wrong because like I a lot of the times it's based in like really just embarrassing the person, putting them down.
Yeah.
In marriage, we're called to honor your spouse, honor the person you're married to. Like
Yeah.
Ephesians 4 says, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but except for what is helpful for building others up. And it's like if you're doing that,
Yeah.
you're not building them up. You're actually tearing them down, and you're doing it in a public setting.
I think it's just part of our flesh too. Like when you get together with people, I think that we in our flesh have this internal desire to share things that are negative.
Yeah,
and when you
absolutely.
get around other people, it's like I want to tell them all the negative things. Oh, he didn't do this. Oh, he didn't do that. And you're just like ragging on your spouse and putting them down for what? Like if you are constantly tearing down your spouse in public, even if you're trying to be funny, like you are setting a tone of disrespect.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the men, like this is part about loving your wife well, understanding her needs specifically, and like this isn't a time for you to swell up with pride and being like, oh no, my wife doesn't feel that way. Like if your wife is telling you, hey, I don't like it when you talk negatively about me to your family,
Yeah.
listen to her and respect that, and don't do it anymore.
Right, and here's the thing. If you make your spouse the joke, don't be surprised when they start like not trusting you or making you a joke or like I said, that tone of disrespect then escalates into something else and a bigger issue in the relationship.
Yeah, you don't want to break your spouse, So what do we do instead? Because disagreements are gonna happen. It's not like we have to pretend to be on the same page all the time.
Right, but like I said before, we do have to be mindful of when and where we have these disagreements. Like, if we have an issue, the best place to deal with it is in private.
Yeah, 100%. Like, think of it like a team. Like, you never see a coach publicly screaming at one player in front of everybody, right? Like,
Right.
even in the movies. Like, good coaches correct behind closed doors. They go into the locker room and, they pull the team apart and say, hey, this is what you're doing. You need to do better, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah,
Because in private, that's where the real growth happens.
exactly. I mean, your marriage is a team. You don't tear each other down in front of other people. You bring up concerns in a way that is respectful and private.
Yeah, Matthew 18 says, it even gives us like a framework. If your brother or sister sins, go and point out their fault just between the two of you. And like, I can't really express like the importance of that in marriage.
Right, right. Just between the two of you. So, if you've taken one thing away from today, let it be this. Your spouse should feel safe with you in private and in public.
Right, and whether it's in front of family, friends, or even a group of strangers, your words should build up and not tear down.
Right. So if this episode resonated with you, let us know. You can leave us a review, share it with a friend who you think this would help, or tag us or DM me on Instagram at Mia Ashman.
Yeah, absolutely. And as always, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. And, as always, thank you guys for listening to the Deserts and Garden podcast. Until next time, walk in love.
Live with purpose.
And trust God in every desert and garden.
See ya.